Jack Thunder and the Dawn of Unity. Chapter 15. Fragments to the Rescue. Twitchett rubbed his eyes. It took a minute for the world to come back into focus. Did he really just witness what he thought he did? A Wendigo transformed into a Fenghuang before his eyes? He'd heard rumors that those kids had turned the Heart of Darkness this way, but he wouldn't have believed it if he hadn't seen it with his own two eyes. The young champion stood in awe at the sight. Snotter cleared her throat. Well, this is nice and all, but how are we gonna get out of here? Nemesis spread its new wings and took to the air. It flew to the opposite end of the hallway, illuminating a set of stairs embedded in the wall. There it is! Come on, guys, let's go! Jack Thunder and his friends followed Nemesis out of the dungeon. None of them seemed to notice the old Nekomata in the worn hat and cape. He watched as they disappeared up the staircase one by one. As the light from Nemesis's new form faded, Twitchett sat frozen on the ground. The prisoners had escaped, but he had no desire to recapture them. Not even the thought of Ivy's wrath was enough to motivate him. So there he sat. Only the faint hum of the energy crystals above accompanied him in his thoughts. Eventually, the Nekomata managed to lift himself to his feet. He began making his way to the stairs, albeit slowly. Despite his failure, something still drove him forward. A strange emotion he hadn't felt in such a long time. Jack Thunder gripped onto Nemesis's back as they flew at top speed through the winding tunnels underneath the caverns of Challenge. Through the wind in his ears, he heard the various shrieks and growls of Wendigos as they flew in hot pursuit. He wiped the sweat from his brow, thanking Anima that Stormbringer was fastened to his back. Shadowpaws was to his right, struggling to keep hold of Lethal Joke as they raced towards their target. Every second, the lump in the storm gremlin's throat grew. Ivy was in these caves somewhere, Stephanie in her grasp. Jack Thunder didn't even want to know what Ivy was doing to the young human. Suddenly, Nemesis stopped. Jack Thunder reeled as the team hung in the air, suspended only by Nemesis's wings over the long drop below. Stormbringer vibrated urgently against his back. As he scrambled to unsheathe the air fragment, the storm gremlin heard a familiar voice crying from the shadows. It sounded something like, "Get your paws off of me, you walking rug!" Stephanie! She was somewhere nearby, but where? He glanced over at Stormbringer. The crystal in the center glowed its trademark electric green, an unknown force pulling on it. Jack Thunder swung it around, pointing it in the direction it was leading him. The entrance to a small cavern lined with golden crystals met his eyes. Another cry met his ears. Yes, this was definitely Stephanie. There! Over there! He directed Nemesis. Without hesitation, the Fenghuang flew the team over to the Enclave entrance. He crouched down as Jack Thunder and his friends hopped off its back. Alright, Ivy, we're back. Where's Stephanie? Jack Thunder shouted as he burst through the narrow arch. He brandished Stormbringer's blades in front of him. The gruesome bear woman turned towards him. Stephanie was locked in another cage made of stalactites. She glowered at Ivy through the bars. What? Ivy reeled back in shock. How did you... She slapped her forehead in realization. Twitchett! I should have known not to put him in charge of the fragments. That good-for-nothing Tom couldn't even sneak into a carnival ride right. He's nothing but... Shut it, Ivy. We brought a friend, Snotter barked. Right on cue, Nemesis swooped in through the ceiling above. Stephanie's hands flew up in front of her face as brilliant white light blinded her. As soon as she could see again, Ivy's expression twisted in disdain. Oh, how wonderful. You've got a Fenghuang. What's it gonna do to me? Jack Thunder placed his free hand at Nemesis's back. This is Nemesis. It used to be a Wendigo. The one who tried to stop us from recovering the anima fragments way back when. He took a deep breath. But after some time, something changed. Nemesis started helping us. So when it got kicked out of the flip side, I agreed to take it in. A lot like you took in Twitch It. Ivy stared at him, dumbfounded. Just what are you insinuating, Jack? The point is, Jack Thunder began, that you don't have to do this. Twitch It told me you wanted your seat back in the summer and winter courts. But what are you going to do once you get there? Ivy balked. I'm going to drive mud beasts like this one from our world, that's what. She pointed to Stephanie in the cage. Jack Thunder's eyes narrowed. I meant after that. Ivy's face fell. For once she was at a loss for words. See what I mean? Jack Thunder emphasized. You want all this power, but not even to do anything with it. You just want to have it so no one else does. Am I right? Ivy growled under her breath. I don't have to explain myself to you. I would listen to Jack if I were you. Ivy winced and covered her ears. Nemesis's voice ate into her brain. Try as she might, she couldn't block it out. He had to teach me this lesson many times. I went after him and his friends many times, aiming for all the anima and Alterus. But where did that lead me? Weak and helpless on the ground, condemned to destruction. It was only because of Jack's mercy that my fate was not so. If you keep on this path, you'll end up just as I was. Ivy growled. I don't have to listen to this, she snapped. Not even the voice of a Feng Huang was enough to get her to change her ways. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. There's still no one in Alters who would willingly volunteer to be a human. Wait, that's not true, Saturn protested. He faced Ivy with blazing fire in his eyes. Really, young Valkyrie? Tell me, who in this world would willingly become a human if they had the chance? Name one person. We would! That was the only warning. In seconds, a swarm of humans in protective gear flooded the chamber. Out of the way! Out of the way! They shouted as they shoved Ivy up against the wall. Snotter saw her chance. She swung Terra into the bars on Stephanie's cage. The human girl stepped through the hole. Come on, young lady, we're getting out of here. One of the cops grabbed Stephanie by the arm, hauling her out of the chamber. Stephanie shouted in surprise. Jack Thunder and his friends ran after the two of them. Hey, wait for us! They met up with the two just outside. Beyond the precipice where they stood, there was nothing but a sheer drop. The bridge had crumbled in the fray. There didn't seem to be any way out. Hey, you need a ride? Jack Thunder shouted. Nemesis flexed its wings. The 8 of them piled onto Nemesis's back. As they rushed out of the caverns, Jack Thunder pointed Stormbringer behind him, a rainbow bridge trailing from the staff. Darkness gave way to soft evening light. As Nemesis touched down on the ground, the rainbow coming from Stormbringer snapped off the end of the staff and landed at his feet. He nodded in satisfaction. Phew, we made it.